Okay, you guys, I'm going to hold this up today because there's a lot of people absent and you can't hear unless I hold it up. We're going to learn how to solve absolute value inequalities. Now this is going to be a combination of the absolute value equations we learned how to solve and the compound inequalities we learned how to solve the last 2 days. So we're going to do the absolute value of p plus 4 is less than or equal to 8. Okay, the absolute value of p plus 4 is less than or equal to 8. Now I want you guys to think about this. Okay, well, since this is an absolute value inequality, it's kind of like an absolute value equation. How many equations did we solve when we had an absolute value equation? 2. We are going to solve 2 right here as well. This is what you need to write. P plus 4 is less than or equal to 8. How is that different than the first one? Doesn't have absolute value, okay? And the other one is going to be P plus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 8. How is this one different than this one right here? Different inequality. Instead of a less than, it's a greater than. Instead of being positive 8, it's negative 8, right? What do you mean you got what problems wrong? Did you take a test on this or something? All right, okay. So now I got to solve these two. How would I solve them? Minus 4 from both sides. What would I get? P is less than or equal to 4. How about this one over here? Minus 4. P is greater than or equal to negative 12. Now, you guys, I want to know, this is a compound inequality. Is it an and or an or statement? I want you to look at those and think about them. P is less than or equal to 4. P is greater than or equal to negative 12. Well, let's graph it. Here's negative 12. Here's positive 4. Okay, I want numbers where P is less than or equal to 4. Now, think about this statement up here, the original one we started with. The absolute value number has to be less than or equal to 8 units away from that, right? Okay? In other words, it has to be within 8 units of that. That would be what kind of statement? If it has to be within 8 units of it. What? No, it's an and statement. Okay? Because look, right here. If I go to 4, I'm going to put a solid circle. Why am I going to put a solid circle? It's equal to. And negative 12, I'm going to put a solid circle. I want all numbers less than or equal to 4, but at the same time greater than or equal to negative 12. Okay, all those numbers are within 8 units of P plus 4. Okay? Yep, you only have one interval is what we call it. One set of points or one interval. Okay, look, if we put in 4 right here, what's 4 plus 4, you guys? 8. The absolute value of 8 is 8. Is 8 less than or equal to 8? Yeah, okay. How about negative 12? Negative 12 plus 4 is? Negative 8. The absolute value of negative 8 is positive 8. And 8 is less than or equal to 8. Choose a number in between. What's a good number between negative 12 and 4 to choose? 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. What's the absolute value of 4? Is 4 less than or equal to 8? Yeah, so it means all the numbers in between right there. How would we write that as an interval? Negative 12 and 4. I should write left-handed more. I'm almost better. Okay. Why is it brackets and not parentheses? Okay, closes off. It includes those numbers, right? You guys, let me tell you this. Anytime you have a less than sign right here, it's going to be an and statement. Write that down. A less than absolute value inequality is going to be an and statement. Okay? We got that? Okay, we're going to do another example. Let's do a greater than 1. Should we try that? This is what we're going to be doing for homework today. Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is, you guys, what we're doing right here is a combination of absolute value equations and compound inequalities, isn't it? It's just a combination of those two things. Okay. By the way, if you guys were not here yesterday, no, Chase, you weren't here yesterday, right? Who else wasn't here yesterday? Okay, you guys, well, you guys were gone the last 2 days, so you probably didn't get the other stuff. 3 days. The thing about the compound inequality, yesterday all we did is we went over the compound inequalities for a second day, okay? We got that assignment turned in, so if you haven't turned it in, you want to get it. Okay, let's do a greater than 1. Let's go and doing like this. The absolute value of n plus 2 is greater than or equal to 5. Now, you guys, this is like an absolute value equation. What do we have to do before we can write our two inequalities? Get the absolute value by itself. So we have to minus 2 from both sides. Well, no, the absolute value is on the same side with the 2. And when we say by itself, on one side by itself. So we had to get rid of that 2 and move it to the other side. We did it by, since 2 is being added to it, we did the opposite, which was to subtract it. And we get that. Now can we write two inequalities? Can we write two inequalities now? What would they be? N is, okay, wait, let's do this. Everybody, turn to your shoulder partner. You write it down and show your shoulder partner what you think the two inequalities are. Everybody do that. Show these two, Anthony. Sarah, show these two. Soraya, show these two over here. Well, okay, Max and Anthony, you guys can share, okay? Christian, you share with those behind you. Okay, did everybody show someone? Write it down. Okay, write it down and show somebody. Charlie, what did you get? No, you wrote something down, I saw you. Huh? You wrote N and that's it. Okay, Kyle, what did you get? What are the two inequalities? What do we do on the last one? Christian. But what's the first one going to be? Okay, what's the other one? Yeah, you guys, all you do on these, you write this one without the absolute value sign, right? And this one, you have to switch the inequality sign and make that negative. And by the way, do we have to solve anything after that? No. One other thing. If it's a greater than like this, it's an or statement. Everybody write that down. If it's a greater than, it's an or statement. So write that down. Trista, you got that? If it's greater than, it's an or statement. Alex, you got that? Cal? Okay. It's an or statement. So we're going to put an or in between here. And since it's already solved for n, all we have to do here's negative 3, here's positive 3. N is greater than 3, greater than or equal to 3, solid, and it goes this way. N is less than or equal to negative 3, solid, because it's greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, and this way. Oh, we got to write the interval. Soraya, what's your question? Because remember the absolute value equations that we did? We made two equations every time. Okay. We didn't, it had an equal sign here, so we didn't have to do the equal sign, but we had to make one that was just like this regular absolute value equation up here without the absolute values, right? And the other one, we had to make it negative. Well, with inequalities, we have to switch the sign around too. This was a greater than, now it's less than, and it's also negative. Yeah, you have to make a negative one every time. Okay? So, right here, we get the interval. What's the interval going to be, you guys? Negative infinity. If it goes in the negative direction, it's negative infinity. To where? To where? Negative 3. Bracket. And what's the other one? Or what? Bracket 3, comma. Good. Positive infinity. That's it right there. You guys, isn't this the same thing which we've been doing? Just a little twist to it. The twist, well, we combined absolute value equations with compound inequalities. That's the twist. Okay? How many of you think you're ready for it? Okay, and the rest of you guys are going to finish up. Okay. I just want to say this, though. There is sometimes when there's going to be no solution, and there's going to be sometimes when there's going to be that it's going to be all real numbers, any number. And there's going to be one of each of those on your assignment today, just so you know. I want you to think about what's happening there, and you see if you can get it. Okay? I'm going to give you your assignment.